will have to jump off a cliff, just knowing that you will not crash. Let me tell you, everybody has their baggage and everybody has their demon. So you might as well deal with your own demon and everything will work out fine. If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Emotions with Omenasa. This is a show where I encourage you and I remind you that if you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to Emotions Omenasa here. Today, my topic is absentee father. And for those of you who follow me on social media, like you know that there was this whole week where I was just talking about absentee fathers. I talked about absentee fathers for a very, very long time because I noticed that it's such a major topic. We have a lot of fathers who are there but not there. We have mothers who are there but not there. And that makes it so complicated. You know, because like sometimes I have even heard people say that it's better that the parent is dead. And that way, like you just know that the parent has died and then you mourn the parent. But for the parent to still be alive and they are not there, it makes it sort of ambiguous. And it comes with a lot of complexities. So the absentee fathers, we have absentee fathers who are alcoholics and that's why they are not there. We have absentee fathers who love their wives more than they love their children. We have absentee fathers who absentee men who love their children more than they love their wives. We have fathers who have a different religion from the religion of their wives and therefore now they are absent. We have fathers who are married to their jobs. We have fathers who are married to their ambitions, fathers who are married to their security blankets. And my guest is Gina. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Gina Michael. It's nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you as well.
I'm so grateful to be here. So
Thank
it's
you.
a privilege.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's hear your story, absentee father.
Well, it's a really touching one to me because sometimes I don't like going back there. But though it's late, my father is late, but before he died, there are stories, you know, just like they say, there are the things that we do. It's like a legacy where we leave the things we do, little things, they really count, especially in the life of a child. So they leave memories in them, no matter how, even if you're still alive, you're late, but they are still there. So my own story, my mom told me my father left when I was 2 years. So, and that 2 years, and my brother was 2 months. So, it's actually, we grow up, I just grew up knowing that it was my mom I knew. To some extent in my life, I was telling my mom I needed to see my father. Where is she? Not like he left her without, like they were having issues. He said he was going outside the state where they actually reside for a greener pasture. But then, he never came back. I never saw him. And it was so devastating. I kept worrying, like, how can I just see other children growing up? I would hear daddy, daddy. I have never had anyone to call daddy. It was so devastating. So what I did is striking thing. There's something I did growing up at the age of, I think I was 13 or thereabout. I said I was going to look for my father. It's a really interesting story to my life. Sometimes when I sit back, I begin to memorize on the story. It's funny to me, like, do you know how far I went? On my own, I just told my mom, I'm just going to go and look for my father. I just hear it's there. One thing I knew was that he don't send anything to her. There was no communication. There was nothing. She was just struggling, only her, to raise us. It was really, really hard on her. So I said I was going to look for him in Lagos, in the city of Lagos. Where does he live? I don't know. Where is he? I don't know. Without an address, without anything, without mindset of a child. I don't even know where I was going to. Funny enough, do you know what I did? One day, they brought, there was a burial. People came from Lagos. I said I was going to go with these people to Lagos to go and look for my father. I just believe, without mindset, as if it's a little village or something, just a little place. So I was going there to look for my father. How? I sneaked into that bus. I just remembered I was seated inside one yam bag like that, like at the corner. I said I was going to Lagos. Nobody there actually knew me. I was just a child. I joined them. So I was just going. So where? Lagos to look for my father. God can be so kind. I never got missing. It's really funny, but that was what I did. I journeyed into that bus. We're going along the road. They stopped by to ease themselves and eat and all that. Somebody noticed me. How God can be with an innocent child. Someone noticed me and said, "You, who are you with?" I said, "Nobody." "Where are you going?" "Lagos." "To go and do what?" "To look for my father." "Your father? Who is he?" I called his name. "Where in Lagos?" "I don't know."
How old were you?
I was, I think, about 13, 12,
Wow.
12, 13 or thereabout. "And you're going to Lagos?" I said, "Yes." And how God could be merciful. The person that was asking me these questions was actually my aunt.
Wow.
It was my father's elder sister's daughter.
Okay.
You see how lucky I was.
So your cousin?
It was my cousin.
Yeah.
My cousin, yes. And then she was interested. Before she even got to know me, she asked me, "What's his name?" I told her. She was like, it's a normal English name.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't know who the person
Yes.
was. She now said, okay, in that journey, she was the one that bought food for me. And from there, she was so interested in the little child. She said, "This is your father. Do you know his family name?" I called the name. She said, "Jesus." "Are you going to look for him?" That was how she took me by her hand to her mother. I would have gotten missing in Lagos probably, because I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know where Lagos is.
And you were coming from where?
I was coming from the village. Funny enough.
Like which village?
Like my village, because what happened was, I didn't really grow up. After my mom had actually raised me to some extent, I started living with people. I live with different aunts. I live with different people just to survive. So there was this time I had to, I was tired of everything. I just needed the love of a father. I just needed someone to call my father. I just needed someone to just feel that parental guidance, you know.
Yes.
But it just seemed like there was no one there. You know, it's different when you live with people. You don't really feel the impact of having that parents. So it actually affected me. So I took that bold step. So I left the city. I heard, you know, that my father was around in the village. So I know the person I was living with, I had to beg, they said my father is around. I want to see him. So when I got to the village, it wasn't there.
Okay.
So I just stayed for some time, and now, luckily that incident happened when they brought, there was a burial and the people came from Lagos and all that. I had to journey with them in that bus.
Okay, and then you journeyed with them.
I journeyed with them. So from there, that was how
you started your venture.
That was how I ventured to Lagos. I journeyed to Lagos in search of him. You know, this thing is not something that we should just parents. I'm using this medium to talk to parents out there. No matter how bad it is, no matter how bad the situation is, even if it seems like you don't have this money, things are not well with you, but at least that care, that's what matters more to the child, that care. You know, children can be very uncomfortable even if they are soaking Gary with their parents sometimes.
Yes.
So they just want to know that my parent is there.
Mm-hmm.
You get, so, and luckily my sister, my cousin,
Mm-hmm.
took me to the mother. She shouted. She was like, "So my brother had a grown child like this, and he has been in this city." I don't want to say the thing she said, you know.
Yes. She was dumbfounded.
Exactly. So it was that bad. So I had to. She prepared me. I slept over in her house. She said it was God that saved me, because I would have actually gotten missing in that Lagos.
Now reunited with him.
So she called him. Now, okay, he was just looking at me because really, he don't know me. Even if he had passed me, he doesn't know me.
Were they married?
You know, the village kind of marriage.
Okay.
You could just like, you paid something, you paid
Yeah.
bribe, and you could just pay bride price. Just a local kind of marriage.
Yeah. And then
You
they
could-
had you and then he left.
He left. No, they had me, my brother, and that was when he left, and it was.
And he didn't keep in touch or anything like that.
He didn't.
So how was his response and how did you feel?
He just saw me like a stranger. He was just looking at me. I was looking at him too. Because even if when I looked at myself, I know I looked so much like him. Even him, he knows I look like him. I was like his photocopy. Even when someone sees both of us, like, no, this is not your, this should be your daughter. She looked so much like you. That was how. Even then, he had to take me along with him, and I noticed so many things has happened in his life and all that. But at that point, it wasn't having anything. I just discovered that I had to, this journey of me living all by myself still continues. I was just there. I just told him, you know, all I wanted was to go to school. I just wanted to go to school. It was not easy living all by ourselves, so I just wanted to go to school. That's why I'm here. And I wanted to know you. I wanted to see you. But you know the striking thing? Saying it is really hard. My younger brother, whom he left at the age of 2 months, he never got to meet him until he died.
Oh no. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Right there in Lagos, I could see that things were not too okay. At that point, I just had to start living my life. all by
Did he
myself.
apologize? When he now saw you, it's obvious you look like him.
Yeah, he did. He kept apologizing that he was sorry, like he made a mistake. He actually left us without a word.
I would like to take that on when I get back from my break. Let's take a break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Emotions with Omenasa. And we've been talking about the absentee father. An absentee father is a father who is there but not there. Like you definitely know that you have a father. And we're not talking about a father who is dead. We're talking about a father who is absent. Hence, absentee father. And like I was saying, there are fathers who are absent because they are alcoholics. They are absent because their religion is different. I have a guest here with me today, and her name is Gina Michaels, and she has really talked about how her father had her, but of course never kept in touch, didn't come to visit, didn't send money, and how she set out on a venture at the age of 12, 13 to go look for her father. And as God will have it, as soon as she saw her father, she came all the way from the village, went to Lagos. And as soon as she saw her father, he couldn't even deny her because she looked like the spitting image of him. And so he went ahead to explain why he disappeared, for lack of a better word. So once again, thank you so much for being here. We're talking about the absentee father. Now, please continue with your story about when you now set eyes on him and he apologized. What was the next step?
Yeah, he apologized, and he was like, it was a mistake on his own part because he had no excuse. He had no excuse to be away. He has no excuse to abandon the poor woman all by herself, raising this kid without any form of support.
You also have a brother too, so he abandoned both of you.
Yes. So he had no excuse. He was just apologizing that he made a mistake. He's sorry. He was sorry for leaving us all by ourselves. He was sorry for everything. He was sorry for leaving my mother because she didn't do anything wrong to him. She was just an innocent young girl whom she thought she had a husband, and then he just left. And before you know it, it's with another woman, other things are happening around him. He just totally forgot. How can you actually forget such a thing? I mean, is it really possible? Like, you forget your own children and a wife? Like, how? I mean, it's really not a good one, seriously. Nobody should actually try that. It's not good. I mean, what could be that enjoyment out there that you want to forget your own children? Totally.
Even if you don't want to stay in the marriage anymore, you know, you could send something, you could send a stipend.
Exactly.
Even if it's not for the woman, but for the children.
Exactly. You know, there's this funny thing my mom told me, like, before the whole thing got totally bad, like, she didn't hear anything from him anymore. That he sent something to her. I think that was twice. Do you know what that was? The first time was a letter, an empty letter. The second one was an umbrella. That was really funny, right?
At least it's an attempt. It is an attempt to something.
It's really funny. Like, I mean, it doesn't really sound well, but people or parents should not be encouraged to do that, no matter what. Don't forget these kids. The only thing they need is you, your love. That's all that keeps them going. They are ready to do anything. When there and there in Lagos, I can remember I sold pure water. I'm this person, I'm so zealous in going to school. I love school. I love education. I was so determined. And there was no help to go to school. Even while I was trying, even in my primary school days, I can remember I would do anything to pay that 15 naira, 100 naira they say you should bring, you know.
You actually mentioned that when you saw him, that all you told him was that you wanted to go to school. So was he able to help you with that?
At that point, like I said, things I could see for myself that it was not really well at that point. So I had to start selling pure water to pay my secondary school.
So you did stay in Lagos then?
Yes.
Or did you go back?
No, I didn't go back. I had to stay, but I didn't stay with him even at that because it was not really comfortable. I had to stay with his brother.
But was he happy, you know, that he had a child? Like, did he assume even a mental or emotional responsibility? Because sometimes we may not assume a financial responsibility, but we assume an emotional responsibility. Oh, how are you doing? Are you eating? Are you okay? Did he assume that responsibility?
As much as I can remember, he didn't really. I didn't see the much affection. It was just little, knowing that this person is my child. But to take responsibilities, I don't think he really did because he wasn't used to it. Yeah. He wasn't used to catering for anyone, you know. So I was living with his brother because of the school I wanted to go to. I had to, you know, the brother was on his own now with his own family. I had to sell pure water to pay my fee in the secondary school. Hawk pure water in Lagos traffic and all that. Because whenever I am in school, the school fee, I'm always the last person to think of paying. I have no choice. Whenever I call him, he will keep promising, I'm coming today, I'm coming tomorrow, I'm coming today.
I'm coming next year.
That was how he kept and on and on and on. It became embarrassing to me in school among my peers. It became so embarrassing. So I had to be selling that pure water to pay my fees by myself because I wanted to go to school.
Yeah. Now, would you say that finding him brought a certain type of closure? Because you know how sometimes you could open up a can of worms because you don't know what it will be on the other side. Would you say that this brought closure for you, or did it cause you more pain?
I was grateful. I saw him, I know him, that that's my father. I could see he was my father, really, and that was all. Because there was never really an affection between us because I still didn't stay with him. He sees me from a distance, he comes to visit once in a while. So the connection wasn't really there.
How did your mother feel about it when you did meet him?
You know, then there was no communication or no phone. I couldn't even reach my mother. She didn't even know what was going on. She just knew that this child will not kill her. She's so determined that she wants to do everything on her own. Yeah. So I even left without telling her. She just heard from people that they said they saw me in Lagos.
What was the impact, or is the impact, of not having a father figure in your life?
I felt... When I see people call daddy, my dad did this, my father did this. If you see what my father did, if you see, hey, my father, he will beat you. I'll just be looking because there was no such thing in my life. I don't have such impact apart from the bullies I had from the people I lived with. you know. So I don't, when I see people saying, hey, my dad this, my dad that, I feel like, I wish I have a dad. So my own impact was negative.
You see, I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
When you did get to see your father, did you still wish that you had a dad?
It was still like he wasn't still there. When I get to see him, you know, it's different when you made a mistake and you want to correct it. You made a mistake and you want to leave. You want to do something different. If he had okay, I was still with him and he took responsibility of everything I needed as a then, the love, the care, the provision and everything, it would have been different still. But I still discovered that the space was still there.
The gap was still there.
Yeah,
the whole
gap, everything was just there. I just realized that this whole thing, it's all by myself. I knew as a father that I could call that, uncle, this is what is doing me. It was my mother's brother. It was the only father I knew that was a kind of close that actually cared for us. It really showed that he was the one that took the impact of a father in our lives a little. But to him as a father, it wasn't really there. I still didn't feel it. I kept wishing every day, like, I wish I have a dad I can talk to. I wish I have a dad I can tell what is bothering me, what I need per time. It's really that thing that daughter and father, you know, I just see it. Even when I see it on movies, I'm like, I wish it's me. I wish I have this kind of father. I wish I have a family. I wish I can just tell dad this. And you know, it was even more difficult when you have to pay your school fee by yourself and your father is alive. Like, I'm not saying that.
No, I
people
got
don't
you.
do that. People do that when your father is not capable. But this one, he doesn't really
He is
care.
capable and just doesn't care.
He just see
Just
from a
doesn't care.
distance.
Yes.
It was in a short period. Like, it was a short period before, you know, I lost him.
And he passed.
He passed away. So.
You know, like, I'm so glad that you got to get that equation
At least I was
settled.
able to see him.
Yes, you were able to see him, and to me, like, I think that brought some kind of closure for you, because at least you know whether it's good or it's bad.
Yes,
You know.
my own.
Do you know what I see in you? I see a woman who became, and I have tears in my eyes.
I'm so sorry about that.
I see a woman who became her own father. And that is where I want to leave us today. Is absentee father, absentee mother. You have to become your own parent. When you look around and you find out, there is a gap in this aspect in my life. When you look around and your husband is not there, your wife is not there, you become your wife, you become your husband, you become your father, you become your sister, you become your brother, you become that gap in your own life, so you don't become a liability on people or on yourself.
Exactly.
And that's what I see in you. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Ladies and gentlemen, absentee father, if you are someone who was raised by only your mother, and that's not because your father died, that's because your father, and let me say this, men who don't take care of their children, it's not because they are vagabonds or they are idiots. A man who cannot take care of his child and has the capability of doing so is a man who has insecurities. He has his own issues. It doesn't mean that he doesn't care. He has his own issues. So let's not bash them. Their problem is bigger than them. However, become your own father. If you were raised in an absentee, in a home with an absentee father, become your father just like my guest. Fend for yourself. Pay your school fees. Don't go around looking for a man to be your father. No, you have God. Become that father in your own life. And I promise you, as long as you are consistent and you are integrous, God will change your story. God bless you for watching. Until next time. Bye-bye.
You will have to jump off a cliff just knowing that you will not crash. Let me tell you, everybody has their baggage and everybody has their demon. So you might as well deal with your own demon and everything will work out fine.
Ooh, I love you.
If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.